Guys, can I request all of you to stand up for a while, please? Just a small request, don't take it on a wrong note, right? Okay, so I'll do some exercise and you try to mimic me, okay? There will be, this is the exercise which we are doing out before my session and we will try to do it at the end of my session as well. So raise your hand like this and just revolve it right now and touch your chin. Okay, so that's I just want to energize it out. So I just ask chin and you just touch the cheeks. Anyway, so I know I want to do the exercise. Please sit down and just I want to make sure that you guys are a little bit interested about and at least making you become. I'm not able to see. Excuse me. There. Sorry. It's coming. Time it gets fixed. I'm going to talk about AI, but at a very high level as such. Just to give you an introduction about myself, I'm Nishith Pathak. I'm the first artificial intelligence MVP from Microsoft. I'm also a regional director for Microsoft, sits in the technical advisory board of them. Written quite a number of international books, especially right for Springer. And my last book that got published was on artificial intelligence in .NET. That got published last year, and even my next book on how can we use artificial intelligence, blockchain, and IoT together. IoT, AI, and blockchain in .NET is actually coming up later. I think next month, probably. Yeah, next month it's coming in, and so I do a lot of work on the field of AI since a couple of years, trying to share my thoughts. As such, and I think there was some lot of interesting sessions about NLP. There was interesting sessions about machine learning and deep learning. I just want to take you up at least at 10,000 feet, a little bit high, and just try to share about more realistic purview about what is AI. Right? Does it make sense for everyone? Okay, so it's also not working. It's also not working. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Take it. No, neither the screen is getting shared. Neither this is. No pen drive. Okay, so I apologize. You are not able to see the screen, but eventually I share the presentation for you all. In case if it is coming in, that would be nice. Let's give them a time. Oops, it's not coming even now on this. It's coming anywhere else? Okay. Okay, so oh yeah, it came in. Thank you. If you really see it out, AI has created the massive disruption since last 1 decade, right? I think the disruption has been so enormous that everybody of us feel that okay, there is something called AI. It has changed the verticals. It has changes the industry. It has changes even the titles of our CVs as well. We always try to put artificial intelligence. It is for some it is more like a marketing term. For some it is like a selling idea. For some it's a hope for getting a better job. Or there's a lot of stuff. And to be honest, we are actually using artificial intelligence in a more impeccable way than we can really understand, even presently as well, right? So in case if you are doing a search on Google, you are using AI. If you are using a search on Amazon, you are actually using an AI. You are using Cortana, you are using Alexa, you are using Siri, you are still using AI. And if you are even booking a taxi from Uber, you are also using AI. There are numerous examples where AI has actually impacted our day-to-day life, and also now slowly started impacting verticals as well. Some of the verticals that it has impacted out in a massive way even currently, some are about to come. So it's absolutely the way AI has came in is very massive. And what I thought of doing was, I thought of creating a bit of technology chart, categorizing around 8 technology waves that have came from since 1950s till 2020 or even so forth. And I started with mainframes. I also was covering client servers and PCs, and then intelligence, web client area. Then we have e-commerce area which is coming out, and later down the line, if you saw out, there was robotics, IoT, AI, and the last one was quantum. So if you see the 6th, 7th, 8th, right, the curves which are there on the right hand side, they are much more steeper, right? And some of the technologies like mainframe as going it on a lower side, and maybe soon become obsolete in next few years. So what does this say? This graphs actually tells you a story, or probably what is a trend that we are seeing it out in future, right? We are seeing that AI is going to be the present as well as the future. The quantum is certainly going to be the future. The IoT, AI, robotics, automations, these are the technologies that are going to be disruptive. The only thing that I have missed out here is the mixed reality, which talks about augmented and virtual. But yes, that's again one of the fourth technology point that is really creating a more immersive solution. So if you look out this chart, and many of you guys have already understood it out, that these are the technology innovations. So when we really think about what is AI, and most of the companies, most of the people, most of the researchers have given their own, thoughts, have their own, even if they are trying to do an automation, they are talking about AI. If they are talking about doing an NLP, they are talking AI. If they are doing ML, they are talking AI. But what exactly is AI, right? There needs to be some sort of concrete definition about what AI can be, and how can you think someone as AI and not automation, right? And I think it is very important for you to understand the difference between a normal traditional computing versus the computing power which the AI brings. Now, traditionally, if you see all the applications which has been working it out, they try to do three things basically. They try to do a sense, they try to do a comprehend, and they try to act, right? And these are most of the applications have started been doing it out since last 15 years or so, right? Either sense, comprehend, and act, right? So in case if we are talking about a speech, it's not like a speech is a new thing. Speech is in Microsoft Windows since 1993, right? So it's not, and AI is also a new technology, not a new technology. AI has been there since 1950s. It's there that we have seen some of what is called the summers of AI and the winters of AI, where most of the companies, to be honest, have felt about the usage of AI when they saw IBM Watson defeating the Go game, and that's where even someone like me also started. Now this is the time to start investing on AI. But the thing that actually differentiate all the other applications versus AI is one thing, which is called learn, right? So if you see it out this slide, I had talked about sense, comprehend, and act on the left side, and on the right side is learn. Learn is the thing that actually differentiates a traditional AI based application versus the other way, right? And the learning can be a self driven learning, or incremental learning, what we called as active machine learning, to be very honest. And or a learning can be constant data coming in, and your machine learning model started getting a lot of insights from and taking the data from it. But the only thing that really caveats your AI versus anything else is the learning part. Now let me try to talk about a more disruption. I talked about the disruption as such. If you really talked about the Fortune 500 companies since 2000, more than 50% of the companies have disappeared. The whole ecosystem has actually changed out, right? We are talking about some of the companies that were not even existing 2 decades back, right? The initial investment of Amazon actually came in 1996, and then it was just a startup kind of a company, right? About Microsoft, it was 79 80s, where the whole stuff of Microsoft, Apple versus Xerox saga came up. I would encourage you guys to saw a movie called Pirates of the Silicon Valley. That will give you a little bit more insights about the whole story about as such. Some of the new companies that have came out is Uber, Facebook, and you really see it out. These companies are actually creating an ecosystem rather than anything else, right? So for example, Uber doesn't own their own taxis, but is still owning the biggest taxi driving companies in the world. Take a case of Facebook. Facebook does not have its own content, but it is sending millions and millions of data in a second, every day or so. We are talking about companies like Alibaba, or companies like Airbnb, which is actually providing the accommodations but does not own any accommodation. So what they are trying to say, what is the outcome you are trying to detect from this slide or this information? It's not about creating an application. It is not about digging technically. It is not about knowing something on an ML or DL or stuff. What is more important is solving a business problem, right? And each of these companies are trying to solve one of the business problem on one or other way, and they actually try to create a system which you say, oh wow. I just give you another example, right? When you try to buy something, you either go on Amazon or Flipkart, presumably because you like a little bit better UX. Why not some other places? There are Hajar kind of an applications who actually do online stuff. The only thing is the UX or the immersiveness, and of course the quality and other things that they do. That actually gives you a different ecosystem for them. I think this is something a more learning for all of us, right? And I really want to see most of you guys becoming a data scientist or a researchers or a hardcore machine learning geeks. But above all, I want some of you to think out as an entrepreneur mindset, and think about what is that idea that can be propelled in your mind that can actually bring the new innovations, right? These new companies does not exist earlier, right? And these are the companies which are now coming and influencing it out just because they are trying to utilize the best of the technologies they have. These companies would have not existed if AI is not there, right? And see, and this is the power and the more ideas are there. I'll give you another another stuff, and I think why you should know that this is the right time that you are in. If you are learning AI, I think this is the right time. See, this is the report that I have taken out from Gartner. What this report says is that 46% of the companies are actually planning on AI, and 35% have AI on radar, but no action have been planned. They are, so what it says that, close to 71% of the companies are either planning or does not have anything to do. Okay. A lot of companies I go out, they say, okay, I want to invest on AI. How can I do that? That's not a right question I want to ask. I want to say, okay, what's your problem? Why you want AI to be involved? It's not about money. It is all about business problem. And I think what I want to give you a message is that most of the companies does not know that what to do with this, what to do with AI. Okay, I have data, what to do with this, what to do next, how do I innovate, how can I go next? Okay, if I have become $1 million company, how can I become $1 trillion company as such? So they don't have that sort of insight or purview, and that's actually have led to most of the industry titans also fall in the past as well, because they don't have the futuristic vision. And the reason, and also this slide is very, very important for you all as well, because This slide actually tells it out that there is an enormous opportunity in the field of AI for someone like you who are still about to come into the market in next 1, 2, 3 years down the line. Does that help? Great. So why AI is popular? I think this is something that you guys have already know about it. But three main reasons. One is the processing power, second is the research, and third is the deluge of data, or the data that has been given, right? The words, the data has been incrementing in so much in the last 2 years. The word has accommodated that, the times of the data as such, and even most of the data that are getting generated are unstructured, right? And people doesn't know what to do next on that. And what these machine learning algorithms or AI stuff, or all of the other technologies are trying to do is to take this data on in an unstructured way, make it more structured, make it more information, giving informational insight so that companies can act, right? Think about a self-driving car creating, trillion of data, KBs or trillion of KBs of data getting generated every second, right? What you can do. Think about our human organ as such. How much data gets generated every second of it? If we are able to apply these kind of a data and try to apply a meaningful insight, giving a right prediction, or giving a right information to the end user. For example, okay, I can tell, okay, the heart is being burning like, more quicker rate. There's a great chance, try to make sure that things are, rather than, having a person going in heart attack and then we are taking an actions out of it. There's a lot of disruption that are happening on all the spaces, and that is the reason why. And even, data is the single most important thing. And think from the entrepreneur perspective, why WhatsApp was been brought, or why YouTube was been brought by Google. It is all about data. The companies who can take the data and give and extract and give the meaningful insight to the end user is what is going to win in a going forward way. So it is important, and you would have seen that data is going to be the crux of any companies as such. And you will see most of the companies are adopting it out. Rather than the technology, they are adopting the companies that have data as such. Now, if I talk about AI into a more linear way, there are certain levers that can help companies to excel on AI. Yeah. One is intelligent automation. Second is enhanced judgment. Third is enhanced interactions. Fourth is intelligent products. And fifth is enhanced trust. These are the 5 main levers, and most of the work that you talk about, right? For example, enhanced interaction is more about creating virtual agents, creating UX experience, having automated customer teller experience kind of a thing is which is falling in terms of enhanced interactions. But the most important thing out of all of these, at least for me, is enhanced trust. Whenever you are interacting with the business, the important thing is trust, right? So let's say if I have to transfer money to you, right? I'm trusting a company or a bank, to transfer money directly to your account. And most of the companies, do you know who is behind the scene, who is handling about stuff in Amazon? Trillions of dollars are actually, or even $30 trillion of business are actually happening on just one word, which is called trust, right? And that's exactly where the AI as a company, if we are trying to do, it is going to be more interactive. Now I want to talk about AI, the trust as such. So let me go out a next one. But if you talk about those 5 levers, left hand side says where you are, and then you can do an intelligent automation, which is more like an RPA kind of a thing, then doing an enhanced judgment, which is giving you a proactive forecasting sort of thing. Then you have enhanced interaction, which is more about a UI phase or a UX phase of it. The first is the intelligent products, which can know what next can be taken out of it. And the third is the enhanced trust, which is more about the cornerstone of important thing for any business what you do. So let's say if you are buying a property, okay, let's say if I want to buy a property or a flat, how can I rely on broker that what he's saying is correct? There's some sort of a mutual trust which is coming in, right? If you are giving a money to Amazon that to ship this, and Amazon is saying that this particular product is going to be delivered at XYZ date, there's a trust behind it, right? And all this internet is actually evolving and disrupting only one thing, that is called trust. And believe me, there's a lot of companies whenever you talk about AI, people talk about machine learning, people talk about deep learning, people talk about algorithms, people talk about other stuff. What I personally like people to think from the AI is, how can AI help you develop a right trust? Because that is going to be more important for any business to work it out in future and even now. So when we talk about stuff, these all stuffs are going to create an AI fabric, and these are some of the industry use case. But I think which is more important with AI, and this slide is more important for someone, with AI, great opportunity present even great responsibilities, right? You would have seen some of the stuff where, the questions have been asked from Mark Zuckerberg, everybody has seen it out. I was, last week I was listening about even the Twitter CEO was getting dragged for some questions. There were a lot of questionnaires that are also coming to a lot of companies. Which is more important is why they are doing it, and why everybody is thinking about it is more about something what I called, or even what most of the enterprise calls as responsible AI. So I can tell or I can instruct AI to do what I want, but that may lead to an unethical way as well, right? I can even create AI to create a viruses. I can also create AI to build some destructive drones. I can also use AI to build it up. So for my session is more like a thought process for you to change your mindsets from deep learning and machine learning to think it out a little bit more broader, because I am sure, because this is more about to change your thought process in terms of, okay, what I perceive when somebody is talking about AI. So most of the companies have to now, if they are working on AI, they have to build a trust in it, and they have to change it out as called a responsible AI. Now, as AI accelerates, there are lot of ethical concerns that can propel over a period of time. For example, what happens when the jobs are going to be displaced? Mind you, I'm not talking about replaced. I'm talking the word displaced. It is very, very important to use the right words, right? What happens when the jobs are going to be displaced? What happens on that? Talking about let's say if AI is taking decision for handling, lot of times you are, what happened next to it? Who are going to do? Can AI makes the, can AI can create their own patents? What happened if AI took a decision? Who is responsible for handling it out, right? What happened when AI can go against the decision of the court, for example, right? So there are a lot of unethical concerns which is going to be raised out. It is very, very important to utilize, because AI can only, I always assume technologies like AI can always augment humans, right? They are not going to replace it. They are going to help out, augment out humans to do out in a more stuff. And there's a lot of fear, among the people, among the companies about using AI. And that's quite normal, right? It's something that, people should not have fear about it. When the aeroplanes have came in, people were having a fear that, what happens if I sit? What happens if the plane get crashed? And what happens to, and a lot of stuff has gone. But now we, sit on the flights and, travel to Mumbai in 2 hours rather than traveling in, trains, saving good amount of time. So that kind of fear is pretty much genuine, right? What is more important is how you take and how you utilize someone like aeroplanes, not to create a destructive weapons or creating something like 9/11, but something to help savior as such. It is more for our humanity to think about it on those lines. And same way, when you are developing applications on AI, it is more important for imbibing trust, for more imbibing the responsible AI. And I think that's more important, because unless if you are not doing it, It might be the stuff coming from the investors, because investors also wants to get a good amount of return. We have to do a right justice to them. We have to give a right justice to the companies to whom we are working, and also to the regulatory compliance as well. The last thing that I want to talk about, since morning we talked about models and all stuff. There are actually 3 steps when you talk about and creating the AI model. So one is you prepare the data, second is you build and train, and third is you deploy. Now preparing a data, as I mentioned, data is a crux, right? And if I say, I've seen a lot of statements like data is a new oil for an organization. If that is a right statement, then it is also a right statement. If data is a new oil to an organization, then AI is a new refinery for the data. Right? So this is something that you need to think out from those lines, right? Because AI actually helps you to take the data and utilize the data for meaningful insights, right? So first thing and foremost thing any company needs to do is to prepare the data, and this is more about pre-processing, and there are a lot of tools that are available to handle the pre-processing of the data. Once the pre-processing happens, you need to create the models, right? Now this is where a lot of companies have improved products like TensorFlow, Tosh, PyTorch are there, Keras are there. There's CNTK from Microsoft is there. There's a lot of tools that are actually helping you developing the models, and this is one of an area which is having a rapid increase in terms of the adoptions. And every time, earlier we used to think about having models available only on the cloud, but now it is available on the mobile devices. So you can create a machine learning model, deploy on your mobile, and make it available offline. So in case if there is no internet connection, still you can still apply and utilize it. I have created numerous solutions utilizing the same model technique, and even I'm working currently on some of the solutions utilizing those. So it is very important to prepare the data and then deploy, and the build and train. And building and training is more important. It is not something that you created a data and you created a model and you are relaxed that okay, I'm done. Most of the machine learning and deep learning model requires the major investment in training. I tell you, I'm working on one of the solution where I'm training on one of the fastest computers, presumably, I'm actually paying, thousands of dollars for a day for creating and training a model. It is going to take 3 months. That's an estimated time, and we are still, investing it out, because training the data is going to take a lot of time. It's actually broken it out into iterations and do it. So training can be either an easy way, which is like, you can do out on an active machine learning kind of a training, or either you train it out into a more stubborn way, like an image classifications, or any way, you need to figure it out what is the scenario you are applying. But important thing is to train, and it is not important. It is not just when you have trained you are fine. It is important that as and when new data comes in, you have to make sure that that data also get utilize and use it. And the last thing is deployed, and as I mentioned, the deployment is an easiest stuff. Earlier the deployment was happening on the cloud. You can now deploy it out on your even the IoT solutions, making it offline. So lot of researchers are already going in that area for handling and utilizing it out. I would not be surprised if and next time a machine learning model comes out even in this microphone. So, that's something, I don't need to have a timer over there. We can have a timer on site, even this microphone to, tell me, what's next coming in. But this is trying to be a power of AI, which I want to perceive it out to you guys. And that's what my more notion was, rather than going drill down to a machine learning, because I certainly feel that if I can able to change your thought process for thinking from machine learning and deep learning to a responsible AI of thing, and I can make someone of you thinking from an entrepreneur or intrapreneur kind of a thing, rather than thinking it out algorithm. I think my reason of coming over here and spending at least 40-45 minutes is fine with me. Right, so I'm done with my sessions. Thank you so much for taking time. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer it out. Everybody wants to have a tea break now. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge. I request Dr. Ritika Vasan to come up and give a token of appreciation to Nishith Pathak. A big round of applause, please.